Welcome all to another exciting episode of the People of Nature podcast. As you all know, we are diversifying the podcast to release into various regional languages as a part of the India Bioscience Outreach Grants. So stay tuned to hear the next podcast episode in your own language. Today, we are going to dive deep into the discussion about industry's involvement in environmental conservation. We have Dr. Meenakshi Singh in our studio. Welcome Meenakshi ji to the People of Nature podcast.
Thank you, Pankaj ji. Thank you for having me here on this podcast.
So, without further ado, let me introduce our guest to our audience. With over 14 years of diverse experience, Dr. Meenakshi is a passionate expert in ESG, biodiversity, and sustainability. Meenakshi ji works as the CEO of Sustaina Greens, an ISO 9001:2015 certified green tech consulting firm based in Vadodara, Gujarat. Her expertise span project management, corporate training, biodiversity assessments, and carbon sequestration studies. Meenakshi ji holds a PhD in algal biotechnology from the University of Rajasthan, with research focusing on ecological imbalance, biomass conversion, diatom diversity, and natural resource management. As an international certified career coach, she has received merit awards and served as a visiting faculty member at IIM for the MGNF program. With over 40 research contributions in leading scientific journals, Dr. Meenakshi has delivered expert talks at numerous workshops and national and international conferences, further establishing her as a thought leader in the realm of the environmental sustainability. So let us welcome once again Dr. Meenakshi to our studio.
Thank you, Pankaj ji.
So Meenakshi ji, we are all very excited to learn from your journey. Many of our listeners are actively looking for careers in environmental and climate space. So let me start with a question that I think everyone is thinking about. So you transitioned from academia into founding your own environmental consultancy, that is Sustaina Greens. What inspired you to make that shift and start your own company?
Yeah. Thank you for this very important question to start with. So, my journey from academia to founding Sustaina Greens was mainly driven by my inner desire to apply my research knowledge in a more practical and impactful way. So, while in academia, I was like deeply involved into the foundation level concepts about biodiversity, sustainability, and climate change. But I felt a strong pull to address these challenges in the real world industrial context. Also, for this entrepreneurship instinct, I would like to thank my previous employer for giving me a wider project exposure in a short period of time that actually helped me in taking risk, calculative risk, and building business networks as well as developing my problem solving mindset. So, as a part of progressing India to meet the growing need for sustainable solution in industries, I want to make a tangible difference. And I found that starting my own venture will help me addressing the business's needs and also adopting these businesses to preserve the biodiversity. So, this is the way I started my own venture.
Wow, that's really inspiring, and I acknowledge on record that it really takes courage to make such a switch. So, Meenakshi ji, your current work involves conducting biodiversity assessments for industry giants such as Tata, Vedanta, ONGC, and so on. So, we all always think about what really goes in it. So, what is your take on industry involvement in the environmental conservation?
So I believe that industries they are the powerful allies in environmental conservation because they have the resources and influence to drive a meaningful
Mhm.
change. In India, as per BRSR mandate, the top industrial giants they already have the integrated sustainability into their business models, which will
Okay.
not only help to preserve the biodiversity but also enhance their company's reputation in terms of
Mhm.
investors' point of view. So many of them now have already dedicated biodiversity policies to sensitize about the impacts on biodiversity. So if I talk about the role of environmental consultants like our
Mhm.
Sustaina Greens, our role is
Mhm.
not just limited to consultation, but we are also engaged with the implementation part of solutions, where we could figure out the tailored strategies that will align with the business goals and also implement with ecological preservation, ensuring that
Mhm.
economic growth does not hamper the limited natural resources of our planet. So ultimately, a proactive approach to environmental conservation within the industries can lead to create a sustainable future for all.
Oh, I see. Thanks a lot, Meenakshi ji, for those insights. We always wonder how industries contribute, and I think you have really highlighted the role of industries in environmental conservation today. So let me move towards your academic journey now. Your PhD work was on diatoms and algae that are very important aquatic bioindicators. So how was your PhD journey and what were your main findings?
So my PhD journey was in algal biotechnology from the University of Rajasthan, and I will say that it was both challenging as well as rewarding because it deepened my understanding about diatoms, which is a kind of algae, and they are critical bioindicators in aquatic ecosystems and very much sensitive to the changes in water quality. So, my research was focused on examining biodiversity and their
Mhm.
responses to ecological imbalances with respect to the physicochemical changes in two prominent water bodies of Jaipur. One was the Mansagar Lake and another was Mauta Lake. So, both are tourist hotspots of Jaipur.
Yeah.
So, in
Yeah.
one of the key findings was the comparative difference in the diatom diversity, both qualitative as well as quantitative, according to the variations in the water quality parameters. And in my findings, I demonstrated how diatoms could be utilized not only to assess the health of these aquatic environments, but they can also be the solutions for mitigating climate change through carbon capture potential and bioenergy potentials.
Right.
Some of the diatom strains which I have isolated can be utilized for biofuel production because of their high growth rate in nutrient rich environment, and they also possess high lipid productivity which is beneficial in future industrial production. So these were my
I
key findings.
Okay, that's really nice to know. So every PhD story is unique, and I think
Yes,
US is also very unique story. And I'm glad that you could share the details of it. So I think it's a really growing field of herbal biotechnology, and a lot of people are now working in this. So as you rightly mentioned that they are also one of the carbon repositories, and
yes.
people are like really looking into it now. So, Meenakshi ji, your current work with Sustaina Greens. So, you must have your own challenges as a CEO of Sustaina Greens. So, what has been one of the biggest obstacles you have faced as an environmental entrepreneur?
So thank you for this important question. Right now, as a new entrepreneur, I can say one of the biggest challenges I have faced is striking a balance between the business goals and
Mhm.
suggesting the long-term sustainability. So we are a very small team as of now, and hiring a good talent, especially when the positions are field-based, is challenging. And
Okay.
also most industries they are still focused on short term financial gains, and convincing
Mhm.
them of the value of investing in biodiversity and sustainability is a bit difficult. So because there is a gap in understanding the long term benefits of sustainable practices, not just
Mhm.
for the environment but also for their own business resilience. Another big challenge is navigating through the complex regulatory landscapes. And in India,
Mhm.
we have policies related to environment, biodiversity, as well as corporate responsibility. So, to ensure that our clients comply not only the national but also international environmental standards, and this requires continuous learning and adaptation to policies because they are still evolving and the frameworks are developing. So the biggest challenge is, I will say that these are the challenges, but I will see
Mhm.
them as opportunities to educate ourselves, our team members, and build trust with the businesses, helping them in realizing the importance of sustainability as a strategic advantage of taking a proactive approach.
I see. I see. I think what you mentioned is, I guess, pretty correct, and a lot of people are also having trouble hiring talent, especially for field work. Uh, so I think it's a tough thing to do, really.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I yeah. So I think it must be really hard to start and manage such an initiative, which you have rightly mentioned that what are the challenges, but also at the same time you are mentioning that look at these as opportunities and work on it. So I guess I would say that it was worth it that you really jumped into an environmental entrepreneurship from academia. So Meenakshi ji, you have worked on various carbon sequestration projects and decarbonization studies across different industries. So can you tell us more about it? How was this achieved? And I think our audience will be interested in what exactly goes in it.
Exactly, Pankaj ji. In
Mhm,
India, we are like growing economy, and
mhm,
with respect to industries, achieving success in carbon sequestration and decarbonization studies, it is actually a comprehensive as well as multifaceted approach is required.
mhm,
So, what
mhm,
we do first is we conduct a thorough assessment of each industry's carbon footprint to identify
okay.
its key emission sources and understand their specific challenges. So, based
Mhm,
on this data analysis, we inform the development of tailored strategies for carbon reduction. For example, if industry like cement and oil and gas, we work on
mhm,
integrating sustainable practices such as creation of green belts and optimizing the land management to facilitate the carbon capture. And if already they are having an existing green belt, we recommend native species that are well suitable to agroclimatic condition that will
mhm,
not only enhance the carbon capture potential but also support the local biodiversity. The another thing
okay.
for decarbonization is like we engage with stakeholders at all levels, from industry to local communities, and
Mhm,
a shared understanding of importance about decarbonization efforts
mhm,
should be like that. It should create supportive policies and practices that will align with both environmental goals as well as business objectives. For this, advanced technologies and data analytics will be used, like GPS-based tree inventory systems and remote
mhm,
sensing techniques to track the carbon sequestration progress. So, such
mhm.
studies demonstrate that carbon sequestration is not only achievable, but it can be a critical tool for industries to meet their sustainability and net zero goals.
I see, I see, I see. So, Meenakshi ji, there's one more thing that we hear a lot, when we talk about sustainability and industries, that is greenwashing. So many industries involve in like rampant tree plantation drives and under the urban forestry projects. So you have helped a lot of industries realizing, what exactly the urban forestry means. So what do you think? How important is it to manage afforestation while maintaining perhaps native grassland or scrub ecosystems?
So, thank you for the very important question, because mostly industry driven plantation drives, what we usually
Mhm,
see is that they do plantation and then they forget about it and don't do the maintenance. So,
mhm,
managing afforestation while preserving the native grassland and scrubland is crucial for maintaining the ecological balance.
yeah.
Because tree plantations are essential for carbon sequestration and that need to be implemented thoughtfully to avoid disrupting existing ecosystems.
Mhm,
Grasslands and scrublands both play vital role in biodiversity and support unique species of flora and fauna that might not
mhm,
thrive in forested environments. So, in our
yeah.
plantation drives, in collaboration with ICAR, we emphasize
Mhm,
the importance of planting native species and removal of invasive species that complement the local ecology. So it's not just about planting trees, but ensuring that these efforts enhance the habitat rather than replace it. For example, converting grasslands into dense forest can lead to unintended consequences like altering soil composition or water
Mhm.
availability, which can
Yeah.
negatively impact the local biodiversity.
Right, right, right.
So
Yeah.
it's
So I
very
think that's,
important to
yeah.
manage and have a thoughtful tree plantation drive.
Yeah, I think that's a point that a lot of people perhaps don't understand. Maybe because of lack of awareness and lack of expertise in that area. So that could be one of the reasons. So yeah, I mean, so Meenakshi, while you are doing all these projects, you must be doing extensive field work. So can you share a memorable moment from your field work, like perhaps a surprising sighting or an unexpected discovery, that you were on the field and then you got something out of the world?
Yeah. So this is really an exciting question because I have many memories of fieldwork. So here I would like to share one of the most memorable moments from my fieldwork occurred during the project in Orissa, where I was studying biodiversity in a region along with my teammates, and we were working near a village that lies along an elephant corridor. So we suddenly spotted a herd of elephants passing through it, and it was a remarkable sight, seeing how elephants moved gracefully along with the younger ones, playing and playfully following their elders' footpaths. So, what stood out to me was the villagers' response, especially the teenage boys, who instead of reacting with fear or panic, they guided us
Mhm.
to the safe routes and paused their daily activities to watch the elephants pass from a safe distance. Even
Oh,
some villagers, they moved their livestock out of the way to ensure that elephants could pass safely without disturbance. So, this
wow.
incident highlighted not only just the beauty of nature, but also
Yeah,
represented the strong bond between the local community and wildlife. So here,
yeah,
it was a reminder that we need to protect these corridors to ensure that
mhm,
both the elephant safety as well as the villagers' livelihoods is
yeah.
truly inspiring, and it's going to be like we need to manage the ecological balance between both wildlife as well as human communities.
Wow, that's a very touching story, that how people and wildlife live together, coexist together, and it's amazing. I mean, there are various ways by which these people do it. We don't even know, because they're always under, like a blanket of wildlife, and so they have found their ways to live with it. That's amazing, Meenakshi. Thanks a lot for sharing that incident with us. It was
Thank you.
really, touching incident. So,
Yes.
Meenakshi ji, you work very closely with several stakeholders, industries, your team, and academy also, because you were a part of it earlier. So, when we talk about the future of sustainable development in India, considering the current push for economic growth, which basically is sort of, in a way, not really going hand in hand. So, what is your opinion about it? What kind of future India will have regarding sustainable development?
Okay, so very interesting question. And as per the recent trends about the net zero concept and India's stand over it, so I believe that India can achieve both sustainable development and economic growth together, because with a growing focus on environmental, social, and governance issues, uh, I can see the change in move towards the green technologies, especially the renewable energy sector, which
Mhm.
we are having a great chance to build a more sustainable economy. So, for India, it is very important to make sustainability as a key part of how we can develop our industries, cities, infrastructure, so that they can be good not only for environment but also for society. So, like I would like to cite an example like India is investing lot of its potential in renewable energy, electrical vehicles,
Mhm.
sustainable farmings, which is very encouraging. But
Yes.
again, like we need to have smart policies and some kind of investment in green innovations. And
Mhm.
like people are like being Indians, we are eco-friendly. We have solutions available in all sectors, like planting trees
Yeah.
for carbon capture, using renewable energy, and conserving our diverse ecosystems. So by adopting circular economy approach and also creating green jobs,
Mhm.
we can develop a growth model that benefit everyone and set a positive example for sustaining our motto of India, that is Vasudev Kutumbakam.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there are a lot of initiatives that government has taken up, or the industries also have taken up, and there is some hope that and I think in our culture also it is pretty much imbibed that we use a plastic polythene quite a lot many times before we discard it really. So
Yes.
it is there, is there. The circular economy that we are talking about, it's already there in our minds, and I think we are trained to do it, as a person. So great. It was so much of nice discussion and so many things we learned today, Meenakshi ji. I'm heading towards some of the last questions. And since you're working in the sector of environmental climate and working mainly with so many people, so many stakeholders, I would like to ask you what are the challenges you faced as a woman working in the environmental field?
Yeah. So this is a very thoughtful question. So as a woman in the environmental field, I'm still facing many challenges, but
Mm.
facing them with a positive attitude and a smile, especially in a male-dominated industries profile, where
Mhm.
I often feel the need to prove myself, especially during on-site work or on important meetings. So actually, the toughest hurdle is the art of managing the balance
Mhm.
between the professional and personal responsibilities, uh,
Mhm.
especially in the environmental sector where your job is really demanding and it
Yeah.
needs a lot of travel, field work, and long hours,
Mhm.
making it
Yeah.
challenging for women to manage the family responsibilities. So, being despite handling these hurdles, I'm more determined and dedicated towards my work, and
Mhm.
I'm very truly speaking, I'm still learning that you need just one thing is to believe in yourself and keep being persistent to learn and unlearn. So it's inspiring to see other women entering into this field, especially they are bringing new ideas and creating a real difference. And from my own experience, I would suggest that don't be shy and always ask for help whenever you need any assistance, because there are your friends, family members, and mentors who can actually who are actually rooting for you to overcome these obstacles.
Correct, correct. Yeah, so many positive things that you mentioned, Meenakshi ji, and I think from your personal journey so far, there are so many insights about how to go about it, and it's really interesting. We all enjoyed this discussion. So my last question to you, and this is a question that we ask to all our speakers, is what message can you give to our environment-focused young audience which is listening this podcast?
Thank you again for this interesting question. So, my message to the environmental focused young audience is simple yet very powerful, that your voice matters and your actions can drive the change. So, the challenges we face, like we are our generation, we have witnessed COVID, we are witnessing climate change, biodiversity loss, and environmental degradation. But every individual has the responsibility and has the power to make a difference. So my suggestions will be like, first, educate yourself, because knowledge is a potent tool, and understanding the issues at a deeper level will help you finding the solutions. And also you can explore the topics that can inspire you, whether it's emerging sectors like renewable energy, conservation, or sustainable agriculture. Second advice will be to get involved, participation in local conservation projects, advocacy for sustainable practices, or implementing in your daily lifestyle also can help you in supporting the environment. because
Right.
every action matters, no matter how small it is. It contributes to a
Yes.
larger movement for a change. My third suggestion would be to connect and speak up. So you should engage with like-minded individuals, and there are many communities. Even this, they can follow this People of Nature podcast, which is dedicated towards the conservation. So building a network of passionate people can help you making a bigger impact. And my final words are like, we are the last generation to save our planet, and rest is in your hands. So don't underestimate the power you have to inspire others and drive a meaningful change.
Wow, that's amazing. You have given them an ultimatum to save the planet. So
Yes,
thanks a lot, Meenakshi ji. It was an amazing discussion. I really enjoyed it. I think all our speakers all always mention very positive things. You are also not an exception. You also mentioned a lot of positivity, a lot of conservation optimism we have. We have so many things we can do together, and I think you're a live example of that, Dr. Meenakshi. So thanks a lot for giving the insights about your work, and I hope through this podcast now perhaps you can hire a good talent who are dedicated towards field work. Thanks a
yes,
lot, Meenakshi.
definitely. Thank you so much. Thank you for this opportunity, Pankaj ji.
Thank you. Thank you.